What's up, people? It's COVID here. Welcome to another episode of Fotokozani School of Wisdom. I'm super excited, and I'm always excited because number one, I'm doing what I love, and the second thing is that I get to sit down with some dope people and have dope conversations. You feel me? So today's episode, it's a little bit different because this is somebody that I think we met in 2022. In our first interaction, we talked about our experiences with junkies and stuff like that. And yeah, he's nodding his head right now because he remembers the conversation that we had. And, we talked about marriage, we talked about relationships, and I was intrigued. And I was like, if I was ever to start an episode, it's somebody that I would like to sit down with and have a conversation. And I'm super excited because it's finally happening. I'm sitting down with Nero Telebwe, Yeah. And by the way, the first time I think you're the first person I know with that name, Nero.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think you're the only one in the world.
I wish I was the only
You're
one,
not the only one.
Yeah, but I've been told it's quite a rare name. Very few people find it hard to find another Nero.
Cool stuff, man. So welcome to the School of Wisdom.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. I don't usually start off like this, but you've been doing business school for 3 years now.
Yes.
First of all, where did the inspiration come from for you to study business?
Well, for starters, I never wanted to work for anyone. That was my first and main objective. Bringing it closer to home, my father also worked for someone and then eventually started his own business. And from that, I realized that it was better for you to have your own business than working for someone else owning your time and you having to constantly answer to someone else.
Yeah.
So I found it better to own a business than working for someone. That's why I decided to venture into a business-related course.
That's dope. That's dope. And I mean, that's how most people. I think when they see somebody succeed at business, they don't really think of going to school to say. They'd be like, I can do business without having to go to school to study business. So why was it important for you to marry the education, the school side of business, and also the practical side? Why was that important for you?
Well, if we're being honest, okay, you don't really need education to do business. But education opens up your mind in a certain way. There are certain things that you can only know if you went to school. Otherwise, it's easier for you to know them if you went to school. If you want to self-teach, you may not get the full width of that knowledge that you're supposed to obtain. And that's why I think, even though we say education may not be the key to success, education sure does open different ways in which we can view things and tackle different problems as well. Yeah.
Well, you and I are doing the same program, right? And I was thinking to myself, and this is a question that I also kept for you. Do you think with the knowledge that you've acquired, like in three years, doing business, studying business and stuff like that, do you feel like you are qualified at this point to work for any company, or maybe with the stuff that you've learned so far? As in, you've done marketing, you've done organizational management, you've done courses that can put you in the best position to run a business, to run a company, to be a manager of a company, to be an accountant of a company. So do you feel like right now, if somebody was to approach you and give you a job, are you qualified? Do you feel like you're ready? Do you feel like you're qualified?
Right now, I feel like I can make an impact in the industry, not only based off what I have learned, but even the experiences that I have gained coming along. I know I'm not that old, but I do believe I've gained quite a number of experiences that will allow me to make that impact in the industry as well. So to answer your question, yes, I would manage. I would, even with the amount of knowledge I have today.
Yeah, because I was looking at like courses like marketing and stuff like that, and I was like, you know what, we're doing things like pricing strategies and stuff like that, and you've got people maybe back home or maybe in the streets that are doing businesses, and they're failing, like you said, because they don't have the full concept of what the business is all about. They don't understand the market. They don't understand the consumer behavior and stuff like that. Now, you seem like somebody that wants success. You seem like somebody that wants to achieve success. So what's your definition of success?
What's my definition of success? I would say my definition of success can be whatever gives you the complete actualization. Because if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for people that have really achieved most of everything they want in life, they're at the top of the triangle at self-actualization. So when you reach that point, I believe that's when you find true success. But success can also be viewed differently. People may find success even in the small things, because one thing I know that's very important is celebrating your small wins. So I can also say success comes about by having a large number of small wins that you can.
I like that.
You can express out like
that. I like that because I'm somebody that like we call them milestones.
Yes, milestones.
Celebrating every part of the journey and stuff like that. But I like to know why people do things. I'm the why guy. Like, if you're going to do something, tell me why. Where does the inspiration come from? So because I've seen you do some businesses. I think your business name is Inventory, something like that.
Inventory Group.
Just tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so the Inventory Group was formed as a form of a conglomerate. So we were acting as an umbrella for other smaller existing businesses.
Dope.
So we were offering consultancy services. We were helping people like manage their funds. So if people had a certain amount of money that they wished they could start a business with, but they didn't know how, what type of business, they could come to us and we would act in some form of asset managers. Yes, so whatever cash we have, whatever assets they have, we can manage it. We're also taking over businesses.
That's dope.
If you run a clothing store and you're too busy to run that business,
that's dope.
We were coming in and we can help you run the business, and we put it under our brand so that whatever little exposure we have, whatever exposure they have, comes together as well. And yeah, that's basically
dope, man. I mean, did the inspiration to start a business also arise from watching your dad do business and succeeding, or was it something that would say was just natural in you? You were just born with it.
What drove me to start a business was what I hated being a dependent. I hate that I have to budget off someone else's pockets.
I hear you.
I hated. I don't know if it's just a thing for guys, but asking for money as a guy, it's hard. Quite difficult.
It's embarrassing. Yes. I'm gonna say it's embarrassing.
Even if you know it's okay for you to ask your father for money, your mother for money, it doesn't feel that
makes you feel some type of way.
Yes, especially the older you get as a man.
Yeah.
So I never enjoyed that. Even from the time I was in high school, I never enjoyed having to ask for money. I never enjoyed saying I want money to do this, and sometimes they'll let you down. They'll tell you I don't have the money for this. But then I figured if I can make my own money, then I won't need to rely so heavily on my parents. Whatever burden I was putting on them, I can take it off their shoulders and I can cover all my costs individually.
That's dope. That's some dope stuff, man. I hope you're learning something out there. But I mean, right now I'm thinking of how your environment looks like and how it looked like when you were growing.
Yes.
Because not everybody as young as you are, those are brilliant ideas that you have and this information that you're sharing. Because this is information that can transform somebody's life if they apply it and they take it serious. So I'm trying to understand, were you reading books growing up? Were you like putting yourself in rooms where people were discussing ideas? Well, what was the birth of your ideas? Like, I understand you said you wanted to start a business because you didn't want to depend on somebody's income and stuff like that. But I'm trying to understand your environment growing up. Like, did you read a lot of books? What sort of circle did you surround yourself with?
Well, lucky enough, I was surrounded by siblings who were pretty exposed to the world outside. So I knew of people like billionaires, millionaires, even when I was a bit younger. And the thought that those guys can buy anything they wanted, that constantly reigned in my mind, saying at whatever level I'm at in life, I can get anything I want. So I kept on doing the research on those billionaires, those people like Robert Kiyosaki. By the time I was in 11th grade, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh my God.
I started reading Folk Cash Quadrant, both by Robert Kiyosaki. And I guess that continuously built that thing inside of me.
That motivation.
Yes,
to
and
want
I
to make
realized
money and
if
stuff
these
like that.
people are human beings like me and they've done it, I can do it too. And
So, do you like have an end game of like what you would like to achieve, or maybe you just because I'm that guy that wants to have multiple levels of success. If I open this door, I'm immediately thinking about how I'm gonna open another door. So, what's your end game for you? What sort of
like what would I? Are you trying to ask like what would I deem as the pinnacle of my success?
Like what are you trying to get at?
Like what would be my end goal?
Yeah.
I know this might sound a bit crazy, but I would like to have a country of my own that I would run like a business.
Oh my God.
Yes, I would develop it like the country Monaco, which is a principality of France, meaning Monaco can still exist, but it's under France. Yes, so I would develop it in that way, but yeah, that's what I would deem as reaching my
I don't think I've ever heard anything like that my whole life. Like somebody desiring to own their own country. That's just another level of success. Good luck, man. Good luck. You know, with hard work, with discipline, everything is possible. But what do you think? Because even when I was thinking about doing this episode with you, the entire purpose of I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because the people, our team. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is a podcast. This is not an interview, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I'm trying to, as in, what? Because even when I was like thinking of doing this episode with you, I was like, I'm trying to give in this episode. I want us to give information to our viewers about success, about money, financial discipline. So, what do you think is the difference between poor people and rich people? You're saying you've read books like Rich Daddy Poor. So, what would you say the difference that you've noticed between rich people and poor people?
I would say it's mindset. It's basically mindset. I usually give people this example of the people in Kamwala, these people that we see selling there. You might say these people are poor and they're selling here every day. They're selling maybe lower quality things than what you'd find in shops. But the reality is those people restock more than what you find in malls. The reality is these people sell out their things and they have new stock every month. And that's not the reality for some of these bigger competitors. If we're being honest, those guys have a lot of money, the people that sell in Kamwala. But it's mindset that moves them from there to something greater. Someone can be earning as much as 50,000 a month, and they'll still live in the compound, not because they're trying to save money, but because their mind can't leave that place.
Oh my God, that's good. That's good.
It's just mindset. Basically mindset. We see how we always say, if this person is so rich, why do they want more money? Their mindset is to keep going, keep chasing. What I have is not enough. I need to obtain more. And a poor person's mindset is, what I have is enough.
I'm cool. I'm
okay. As long as this will get me from now until the 30th, I'm okay. And settling for less should never be something that we do constantly. And all that starts from our mindset.
I agree with you because I'm constantly chasing something. I remember I said a prayer one time. I was like, God, I want to be a workaholic. I was like, I want to be addicted to work because once you get comfortable, like you're saying, you put yourself in the comfort zone, then there's no room for more. There's no room for more. So when you want success, from what I know and from what I'm learning is you gotta, number one, get yourself out of the comfort zone. And don't let your past success make you feel like this is it. I'm good. I'm satisfied and stuff like that. How would you, I heard a quote somewhere saying hard work is overrated. What do you understand by that? How would you interpret that? Like hard work
is overrated.
Let me give you a scenario. Those guys that, I've seen guys carry 5 bags of cement on their shoulders, moving from one track to the other every day. That's hard work, right? And you find that they're walking away with a 50 kwacha. And you see somebody just making a few phone calls and they are making 10,000. So when that person was saying hard work is overrated, that's the scenario they were referring to. To say you can have people, do a lot of heavy work, do a lot of labor, but still get to walk away with less money. And then you can have somebody just, making a few phone calls over here and there. Rather, let me just put it like this, using their mind. And this person is using their physical ability. So what's your interpretation of that?
I would use the phrase, I don't know if I can call it a phrase or it's a saying about how it's better to work smartly than work hard. So that's the way I'm doing it, in the sense that most people who hire the same people to carry that cement, it's just a guy who's probably in a suit. He's upset you've made him leave his office where there's an AC, but he's there in his suit, he's paying him a 50 kwacha. This guy moves 250 bags alone and he only gets that 50 kwacha. So I do think if your hard work does not involve brains, it is overrated.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I want to continue talking about success, but I want to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about dating for a second.
Okay.
How difficult it is to date in 2024? How difficult it is?
Yeah, it is quite difficult. It is quite difficult. I think with a lot of things that are coming up on the internet, it is quite difficult. Like I would like to ask you, from the people that you see today, I don't like, not to throw shade on girls or anything, but like what guys. So the girls that you see today, majority of them, do you think most of them are ready for relationships, committed relationships?
Definitely not. I would say if I was to put it in a percentage, 80% of them are not ready.
Why do you say so?
I feel like marriage is an institution. I feel like and then like every other institution, there are rules. There's a way you're supposed to talk. There's a way you're supposed to dress. There's a way you're supposed to behave. So this institution is something that ladies today don't take time. And let me not just throw shade at the ladies, even guys, it's something that they don't take time to learn, to understand what is marriage. Why do I need to marry? What is the whole purpose of me having a wife? Or what is the whole purpose of me having a husband? So I'm going to say we're not ready because we have not put ourselves in a position where we can acquire information, because I'm a Christian myself, and the Bible tells us that it's not love that keeps a marriage, it's wisdom. And you find scriptures telling us where there's no knowledge, people perish. So I feel like they're not ready because they haven't deliberately they're not being intentional about it, putting themselves in situations where they can learn and understand what marriage is, what it means to be a woman, for example. I mean, we've got ladies who are trying to be men, and men are trying to be ladies. That's crazy.
But do you think it's because we don't value the same things as what was valued before?
That could be true. That could be true.
Because when we look at things that most people care about today, most guys of today really care about money. Money. And
I do myself. I care about money.
Me too. Most of us care about money, about having a great time, and it also brings about that fear of commitment in a lot of guys. Because I've been meeting different guys that have commitment issues. It's not that they find it hard to commit, but they have a fear of it. And that's something that is common amongst girls and boys today. And you find that's why we say, no, this is Lusaka, as if we make cheating seem normal.
It's a normal thing.
It's in Lusaka. But I think the fear of commitment is one of the things that also
the fear. And I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But let's talk about success and marriage. Do you think that also money, issues of money, these issues are also contributing to I mean, if you look at the rates of divorce, man, it's crazy. It's high.
Yes, it's very high.
People get married 2 months, they're divorced. 1 week, some of them, and they do these big weddings where they spend a lot of money and stuff like that. So, but I remember we even argued with one of the guys. We're talking about. I was saying I would feel a little bit safer if I was to marry at a point where I'm still building. Like I'm not poor,
Yes.
Like I'm not poor, but I have something that I can manage. I have
Yes,
something
yes.
that I can take care of my wife with and my
Yes.
kids. I would like to get married. I would like to get married at that point, not when I've accumulated so much
So much.
success.
Yes.
Because I would always have this thing of, well, what if she's with me
Just
for
for the
these
money.
things?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you interpret that? Or let me ask you this way:
Mhm.
which one would you be comfortable with? You achieve the success first, or you grow the success together?
I'd rather grow together because, like you said, you're not really sure who is genuine these
Mhm.
days. People have different motives, and everyone is an actor these
Mhm.
days. It's very easy for someone to pretend that they're in love with you
Mhm.
if they know that you can take care of them
Mhm.
for the rest of their life. This is both from the perspective of men and
Mhm.
women,
Mhm.
because even in today's world, it's not only women who follow men for money,
Mhm.
but even men
Nah,
follow some women for
Mario.
money. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
so
call them
that's
Marios.
Marios
Yeah.
for real. I never heard of
They
that
will call them Marios. Yeah.
Marios, but yeah. So you never really know. But if I'm able to build with this person constantly,
Mhm.
I will feel a lot better. I will feel like this person cares not only about my money, but this person also cares about my personal growth. This person and I are building off each other, because if you can't build together, you won't be able to sustain what's already been built.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, it's taken me back to success. Me and the friend, my partner on this podcast,
Mhm.
Leo, we were having a conversation about success and how we can create generational wealth. You know, because some of us, our parents, never managed to create that wealth that
Yes.
we could have, carried on into the multiply it and pass it
Yeah.
on to the next generation. How do you think moving forward can, as especially as Africans,
Mhm.
particularly Zambians, how do you think we can create generational wealth?
Well, starting young. If we ourselves start young, we can find it easier to. We have a longer period of time to build this same wealth. One, two, educating our next of kin. Our next of kin doesn't only have to be our children, but it can also be our relatives, our brothers, sisters, cousins, and many more. Some people, it can even be our spouses. Yes. So if you are building them from the time they are younger, you are creating this foundation such that even if you were to die today and you leave them with things, they're not going to just squander your property, what and what, sell everything and eat the money.
Yeah.
Because I know some people say it's not good to see a bag of cement in all the money you receive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to eat the money.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Yes. So
I hear you.
yeah, basically that's it.
Yeah. But how often do you see that in our culture in Zambia? How
It's
often do you
very
see
rare.
that, man?
It's
Because
very rare that
I feel like
even
most
our
of our parents, if I suffered,
Yeah,
I used to walk. All
yes,
that stuff,
yes.
man. And I'm
No, I
like,
used to cross the river to
yeah.
go to school.
I used to walk barefooted to school. I didn't have this and that,
Yeah.
What you're describing is what even the Bible talks about. Like I said, I'm a Christian, so I like to make reference to
I
the Bible.
understand.
Is what the Bible even talks about, like don't just give the fish, teach them how to catch
Yeah,
the fish.
teach them how to
Because
catch
when
the
you
fish.
teach them how to catch a fish, that fish that you were given, you can now save it or invest it into something else.
Yes.
Because now they've acquired the information and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But again, I even, like I told you, we had this conversation with my partner Leo, and I said, again, I have a problem when, quite all right, your parents didn't do that for you.
Mhm.
Maybe the only thing they could manage to do was give you an education and stuff like that, despite the fact that they were rich, like
Yes.
they had wealth. But they just felt like you had to create your own wealth again.
Mhm.
And then you grow up and you become this irresponsible person in society. And then you just keep pointing fingers at everybody and
Yes.
saying, I'm like this because my dad this. I'm like this because that victim mindset again, I
Yes.
feel, is another factor that hinders people from, achieving success. I mean, I've seen people became drunkards because, no, my dad abandoned us. But you're not the first one.
Yeah.
We've seen people being abandoned, but they still manage to create success and stuff like that. Would you say you've experienced moments in your life where you felt like, I'm done, I give up?
Yeah.
And how did you bounce back? Because I feel people just quit after falling once.
Yes.
So how did you, describe how you felt and how you bounced back?
Well, for starters, I felt very defeated. At first, I was in denial. I didn't want to believe that this is the situation I found myself in, and I felt like I couldn't find answers from anyone, because even if people tell you stuff, they might only tell you what you want to hear, or they might not tell you exactly what you need to hear. So you find, even when I was going through that and I felt so devastated, the first thing that I did was I prayed, because I didn't know what else to do, where else to go. Because like I said just now, people will tell you what you want to hear, not really what you need to hear. And I know it's not everyone who hears the voice of God. Yeah, quote unquote, because yeah, to some people they've never experienced it. Yes. So the first thing I did was I prayed. I tried to ground myself. I accepted. I said, this has happened. If I continue dwelling on this, I can't move forward with my life. The best thing I can do is, if I care for myself, I need to think of an alternative. I need to think of a way out. This is the problem solver mindset, which basically is also comes back to one of the first things you asked me about education. Problem solver mindset is developed a lot in school, because for a long time in school we're always trying to find for X.
When is X gonna find itself?
We're trying to be the problem solvers, and I had to think of a solution in which, even though this has happened, I need to accept it and I need to come up with something else, because acceptance is very important. Once you remain in that denial phase, you find it hard to move on. And this also connects to relationships, which we were just talking about. Some people find it hard to, they're blind to what's right in front of them. Not to be that person that talks about sensitive information, but I would do it.
Go ahead,
people like in abusive relationships, most women will say, he beats me because he cares. But does he? Like, if he really did care for you, he wouldn't want to see you hurt in any way, by him or anyone else. So it's the whole mindset. We fail to come out of things even though it's right in front of us. If we can just accept it, we say, yes, this guy is bad for me, this girl is bad for me, this business that I'm doing hasn't worked out, I haven't cleared this course, I failed my exam, I failed a driving test. If you just accept failure, you find it a lot easier to move on and find something different to do.
Oh my God.
Because at least your mind has moved on.
Oh my God.
You get that closure.
Oh my God. I'm learning. This is why I say I get to have dope conversations with some dope people. That's just valid piece of information that I just received. I mean, I felt, that feeling, I felt the goosebumps, I felt, when you said that, I felt it. I want to ask you two questions, right? The first one is, there's what I like to call the unexpected punch of life, where life just throws a punch at you unexpectedly. When you didn't, and it hurts the most when you didn't expect it. Kind of like, you studied hard for an exam, and then you failed. You're like, where do you find the courage to bounce back? Where do you find the hope and, the desire to try again? So I want, in terms of business and in terms of finances, what's the biggest blow, like the biggest punch you've ever received? And the other question is, learning from that, how do you now handle your finances?
Okay, so in business, like I said, so the inventory group is made up of smaller companies in it. So there's a company called Inventory Clothing. Mainly we used to focus on women's clothing, but now we're also going into the thrift space so that we can appeal to a larger audience. So there was a time I was trying to expand and I sent some of my stock to Kawe. So things started well. The first week I even received my income. It was even faster than what was going on in Osaka. And I was excited. Then the next week, the person I was doing business with didn't get back to me. I was just patient because I've been doing business with him. I know him. Then the other week came and then he called me. Just one early morning around 7, he called me. He was like, Nero, the store has been robbed where I had put my merchandise, and he sent me pictures. They had robbed almost everything in the store, not only my things, but inclusive of lots of other things that were being sold in that store. And I didn't know what to do because for my business, I would include investors. So now I was thinking, what am I going to tell the investors? I need to pay dividends. Myself, I need to survive.
Yeah.
So that came and I was stuck at first. I was very devastated. I didn't know what to do, where to go. So, like I said again, first thing I did was I prayed. I don't really see myself as someone who is religious or spiritual. Like, I don't have the
Religion
books or
is
the
nonsense.
verses.
Religion is nonsense.
I don't have the verses in my head, but I do believe there is a God, there's a higher power above us. So,
agree with you.
yes. So I still prayed. I prayed and I tried to get that calmness to think about the next step. Then what I decided or what I do now is I am more involved in the running of the things. Because even when I was told, the first thing that came to mind was let me think of blaming this guy. Because I gave these things to him and it was in his care, meaning the fault was on him. But then the reality of it is I'm a business owner. In business there's risk. Even if that was my store and it got robbed, I wouldn't have anyone else to blame. So I decided, I said I'll be more involved, one. Two, I will spread my stock, because you said finances, but I also look at stock as your finances as well. So I would spread my stock more thinly. I wouldn't put it in a dense, like a lot of it in one place. Because if this place catches fire, at least other places should be able to cover this cost. Yes. So basically that's the strategy I'm using right now.
And that's my thing, and that's why I was saying I even like you open this door, open another one, open another one, open another one, you know what I mean? Now let's talk about financial discipline. Let's talk about financial discipline. My good friend, again, I'm gonna put him on the spot because he's my friend, Leo, gives loans. Gives loans. And I've noticed that some of the people he gives loans to just want to find a lifestyle. A lifestyle of going out, buying clothes, trying to, doing it for the gram and stuff, trying to be cool, trying to be fit in. But there's also people that get loans to invest in businesses. So you as an individual, what does financial discipline look like to you?
Okay, what does financial discipline look like to me? Well, like you said, most people who get loans don't really need the loan for its intended purpose. I've also been in a situation where I've given out a loan to someone and they wanted it to go for a concert. And it's a big loan. It's like 5,000, 7,000. And then you're wondering, why would you want to waste all this on a few drinks and a few hours of enjoyment? And you
sacrifice long-term dreams for short-term pleasure.
Yes, it's just you wanting a dopamine rush. So you having that discipline to know when, how, and where to spend money is what I deem as financial discipline. You having that control, because it's very easy for you to buy things that you don't need. It falls into psychological pricing, where they can put a lot of things before what you want to actually get, and you end up buying more than you need. I'll give an example of Black Friday. On Black Friday, they use a lot of psychological pricing. They will let you know that this blender is on promotion, this kettle is on promotion, but they won't tell you that this toaster is not on promotion. And you will buy all three, thinking everything is on promotion. Yes, so let's see. So you having financial discipline will enable you to look through that system. Because at the end of the day, as business owners, we want your money. They want our money as well. So if you're able to see through that, you're able to get past wanting the flashy lifestyle. You're able to get past wanting so much attention based off how you look, how you dress, what you have on, what shoes you're wearing, what phone you're using. When you get past all that and you realize that money is a store of value that you can used to gain a lot more
Yep.
than
Yep.
just to impress people. That's how I see
I like
financial
that. I
discipline.
like that, especially the part where you even gave an example of looks, trying to appear a certain way. One of the richest people, Warren Buffett, he said, "I wear expensive suits,
Yeah.
but they just look cheap on me."
Yeah.
And I like that. I was like, oh, I see what you just did there.
Yeah, Warren Buffett he's very inspirational.
Very,
And
very.
you see it even from people like Bill Gates.
Mhm.
They don't go around
Wearing branded
Yes,
clothes and
like,
stuff like that.
it's
It's usually the broke ones that are
It's-
trying to put all the chains
it's
and
very
the
minimal.
Gucci.
It's very
The fake
minimalistic.
Gucci, by the way. That Gucci is fake, my brother. So- yeah, don't hate me. If the shoe fits, wear it, bruh.
Yeah.
Wear it. I feel like I want to talk about your circle a little
Yes.
bit. How do you? Because I don't believe it's possible to achieve success on your own.
Yes.
As in, you need people, and that's why God put people on earth. So that we can help each other. I need you. You need me.
Yes.
You need my mindset. I need your mindset. You need my skill. How do you pick your circle? Or how do you pick maybe people to do business with, your partners, even your friends? What's the criteria that you use?
Okay, so for circle, in terms of, I'll start with friends. Okay, so for friends, the criteria I use is, if I'm being honest, I go for the most weird people. The most weird people I find to be some of the most interesting people. I have friends who will sit alone. They're alone most of the time. But then when it comes to ideas, innovation, they're leaders, and everyone else follows behind them. When it comes to socializing, they may be quiet. When you talk to them, they talk about things that aren't really mainstream, things that lots of people don't really talk about. And that's what I use for friends, because life is already short. I wouldn't want to have boring people around me. So I always like to pick the weirdest and interesting
I
people.
hear you, man. I hear you.
Yes. Within those weird people there, you'll find the loud ones, you find the quiet ones. They're there. When it comes to business partners, a relationship you have with someone is very important. It's hard to open a business with a partner, or let me be specific, with your boyfriend or girlfriend, because you don't know how long that is going to last. Marriage and dating are very different.
Two different
because
things,
when you're dating, it's more temporal than when you're
It's
married.
easy to walk out.
Yes, it's easier to walk away than when you're married. When you're married comes a lot of things.
Yeah.
But in the dating space, it's very difficult to run a business with your partner. So it's a challenge because lots of people don't have the proper criteria for it. So what I do when I want a business partner is I look at their experiences. I wouldn't want, if I'm a beginner, I wouldn't want to start with another beginner. I would want someone who has been in this space. I want someone who has that experience. It doesn't have to be complete experience, but even just a little bit of experience in that field, so that we can take our first step together. I can build off him, he can build off me. Yes, so that's something
exchange. There's that value exchange.
So that's very important, especially for business partners, because some people can double cross you.
Yeah,
some people can double cross you.
I mean, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Some people
His
can
name
double
is
cross.
Leo, by the way.
Some people can double cross you, and it's very common in the female space. That's one of the reasons to why most women don't really progress at a fast rate, because not many women want to see other women go up.
Yeah, women are envious of each other.
Yes, they have.
Even when a fellow woman looks beautiful, they'll be like, so she thinks she's all that and stuff.
Yes, they'll talk about. They won't just say, "Oh, she looks great."
It's different with the guy.
Yes,
the guy will be like, "Oh, you look dope, man.
That's a nice shoes.
That's a nice shoe."
Very, very different. So I think it's very hard even for girls to get into that space of doing business together. But if they can find someone who has little or more experience than them, one, someone who is very eager to learn from them, two,
I like
three, someone who is as passionate about what you're doing as possible. Meaning you would have to get someone who is benefiting just as much as you.
Yeah.
So you have to let go of that selfish aspect.
Yeah.
You can be the CEO, yes, but you might still be getting only maybe 100 kwacha or 200 kwacha more than your partner.
Yeah.
You just have to let go of that selfishness. So yes, those are very important.
I hear you, man. I wanna ask you 3 questions
Yes.
that require 3 short answers before we wrap up.
Okay.
The first one is, what's the best advice you've ever heard or received? It could be about anything you've ever received, like from a personal interaction, or you just read a quote somewhere and stuff like that. The best advice you felt like it transformed your life.
Don't get too comfortable.
I like that. What's the worst?
The worst advice I've ever had, money means nothing. Yes.
Add more light on that.
I heard that money means nothing from someone who was talking about value, saying money, when you gain money, it means nothing. When you find money, you find that it's actually useless. But in reality, I found out that when you gain money, more opportunities are opened up to you. So it doesn't become useless. You can get money, and what you do with it determines whether it will become useless or if it will be helpful.
I hear you.
Yes, so that's where I didn't agree with that one.
It kinda resonates with the story from the Bible. But anyway, we'll get into that some other time. The third question is, because let me just add a little bit of context. I believe in purpose. First of all, I
Yes.
believe each one of us on earth was designed to achieve something,
Yes.
or to just perform a specific function. And I believe if you die without discovering what
What your purpose was.
is, you die twice.
Okay.
You die twice. And so, what's your purpose right now? And I believe that purpose is not a destination; it's a journey. It's a journey. So, in this current season that you are in,
Yes.
right? What would you say your purpose is?
Is to become a better leader. I've been lucky enough to be put in leadership roles growing up. I was the head boy at my school. I know that I was a prefect, and I realized that in as much as I would hear it from other people telling me that, oh, you make a great leader, a great leader. If I don't develop that myself, I will lose out on whatever opportunities will come forth to me. So my purpose right now is to become the best leader that I can be. This will eventually lead me to my end goal, my country. You have to be a great leader.
You have to be a great leader
Yes.
to run a country.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's running a big business, you have to be a great leader as well.
That's dope, man. Leo, my fake friend, wouldn't forgive me if I don't ask you this question. If I don't ask this, is there anything that you wanted me to ask that I haven't asked before we wrap it up?
No, I think you hit most of it on where it was supposed to be. I think you covered a lot, and you asked all the necessary questions that you felt were necessary. And I agree with everything that you said. I also wanted to applaud you and acknowledge your your comments on the statements that I gave, and even just what you've given out to the viewers. Because everything, even just you setting this up, it's an experience not only for me but even the viewers out there.
Thank you, man.
So
I don't get this love from my friends, man.
It was really good. I think
they're jealous. My friends are jealous. I don't get this love from them. So thank you so much, man. I've learned so much. I've learned so much. Now I'm even more curious. I want to have more conversations with you off camera, because I'm a guy that constantly wants to learn and stuff like that. So thank you for coming through. Thank you for making time. I appreciate you.
No problem.
I enjoyed myself. Dope conversation, great content. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming through.
Just in case you'd also want to know more about business, talking to people that have really made it to a certain point in their lives and they've achieved many milestones, I would invite you and anyone else who's watching next week Tuesday, Zikas University. We're having an entrepreneurial talk with quite some big players who are making it big at a young age in Zambia. And I know if people receive more local stories, I know we can talk about Bill Gates, but we talk about more local stories.
It's more relatable.
Yes, more relatable, and it's more inspiring to some of us as well. So yeah, that will be happening next week Tuesday from 12:45 to 13:45, just 1 hour. And yeah, I think it would be a great thing not only for me but everyone else to attend it as well.
Thank you for sharing that information. People are stingy with information, and This is the dope thing about Fotokozani, man. We get
Yeah.
to share information that can change you, change the people around you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We love you. You're some dope people, man. Thank you so much. Nero,
Yeah.
thank you.